Hello, everyone. My name is Mia Moravis, and I am thrilled to be here with you in the Global Game Changers Summit 2023. Let's get started. I'm going to talk to you today about maintaining joy and comfort in the act of creation. And the reason I think that this is so important is because it will give you freedom to create no matter where your interests and passions lie, be they science, music, the arts, anything, finance, any subject matter whatsoever. These points will be very, very useful for you. What I would like to say first is allow your passion to land upon you. Many, many times we have a situation where we have family expectations about where we ought to go to college or what we ought to do for a living. And these things are very natural. We have expectations coming in from all around us. But what I would like to say to you is, with those things in or out of hand, allow whatever you're passionate about to land upon you, because that will be where your mind, heart, and soul will lead you into the rest of your life. As you do this, and it is exciting, as you do this, define your passion's relevance to you. That is not a selfish thing to do. When you allow your passion to land upon you, there will be many reasons for that. I want you to go ahead and feel free to figure out why this has landed with you. I too had an expectation of a certain curriculum for college when I was out of high school, but I traveled for a year with people, which changed my life. And then after that, I got accepted at the National Shakespeare Company, and that changed my life too. And when I decided to go back to college, because I did want to get a college degree, there was a lovely educational institution that gave me credit for what I'd already done out in the world, because they had a brand new theater, arts, speech, and film curriculum. And that was really a wonderful discovery for me. It was expected, though, that I would do something maybe a little more calm, not entertainment, but perhaps English literature, which can be very exciting as well. But the world of theater landed upon me. My mother was a concert pianist, and so that is why that felt so relevant to me, that music and theater and the arts of entertainment would be exciting to me. And that was the passion that landed. And I did ultimately follow it through. What I did have to do, though, and what I'd suggest to you too, is define your passion's purpose. For instance, if I had decided to go into theater arts, speech, and film curriculum after traveling and performing in the National Shakespeare Company in New York, just to defy my parents who wished that I would do something not necessarily in the arts, that might not be the best purpose for me. What I did when I defined my passion's purpose was admit to myself that I was going to do exactly what I wanted, but in doing so, I would always try to be as helpful as conceivably possible out in the world. This is very important. Decide what you want to create as such pertains to your passion. In my own world, I thought I would like to ultimately write a play, ultimately write a musical, ultimately perform for people who didn't have a chance to get out because of some type of situation that would keep them homebound or community bound. I wanted to impart that kind of joy for the performing arts onto our communities. And I learned that in Up with People, and it really does change your life. So when you decide what you want to create as it pertains to your passion, the passion that has landed upon you, that will give you great liberation, and it will help guide you as to what's good for your mind and your soul and your heart. The next thing I would suggest is, as you decide even further for everything that you're going to do with this passion that has landed upon you, that's irrefutable and you cannot resist it, as you decide what to create with it, decide if you wish to share your passion with others, as we discussed just a moment ago, and if so, how vastly. Maybe you don't want to share your passion at all. Maybe what you create because of your passion, you want to keep this creation for yourself, and that's absolutely fine. Or maybe you want to share it with just a close group of friends. That's fine. Or maybe just in your community, or maybe even worldwide. We certainly have platforms now that allow us to do that, and we all play on them every day, and we all get to meet people who have passions just like we do, but maybe even in different subject matter, which is absolutely fine, and that's how we learn about so very much. But it's okay for you to decide if you want to share it or not. It's yours. As you begin creating, create what you want and with no outer eye upon yourself. And the reason for this is that so you write from your heart, from your mind, and from your soul. I have mentees and I do consultancies with adults. And when they start to write a screenplay, or they want to write a musical, or they want to invent an apparatus that they think will help humanity, and it very likely will, I say, create what you want. If you have an outer eye on you, wondering what it's going to be like later and how many people will use it, or will anybody like it, or anything like that, you're defying your own purpose, and you're defying how your passion landed upon you. Create what you want. We already have this invention over there. We already have a musical like that over there. We already wrote a novel that's just like you see in the library shelves. Create what you want. You are the one who is unique, and you have what you have to offer that nobody else can. So don't write or create or perform or any such thing that you wish to do with an outer eye upon yourself as you're creating it. You'll only take your own uniqueness away, and that would not be good. That would not be good. We are here to give the best of ourselves. Decide if you wish to share your passion's creation with the help of others, collaborators, or if you'll do so by yourself. The reason for that is very simple. It's wonderful to have a group of collaborators around you, and you must get collaborators, if you choose to, that you feel you can trust implicitly and that will allow you to let your creation be what it's going to be. You don't have to have collaborators. If you want to do so all by yourself, that's absolutely fine. One of the reasons I bring this up to you now as you're getting ready to go further in the world is that you have to understand, you can understand, you will understand that it is totally all right to be you and to make what you want. There's only one of you and a million of us out here, and we'd love to see what it is you have to offer if you choose to share it. Sometimes simply writing a song is all we need to make ourselves feel better, to give ourselves our passion, to create, and to give our souls and minds and hearts what we need. And maybe we don't ever sing it out loud. This is very important. If you decide to collaborate with others in the sharing of your passion's creation, stay with your purpose. It's a little bit like what we just talked about, and make certain that your collaborators will too. Follow your instinct and don't compromise your passion's creation because of input from others. This is yours. This is your creation, and it's allowed to be whatever that is. It's allowed to be all yours. Decide if you need any outside education to prepare yourself for your creative process, if you will employ others' expertise to cover that with which you have no experience. I'm not really good at editing videos and photographs. I'm a great art director, but I'm not great at making the thing happen. So I have people that I go to all the time in order to get the piece created, and with my art direction eye upon it. And so in that way, it's really wonderful for me because maybe I don't have time to educate myself in that kind of software, but I am also employing people and being beneficial to people who already have that expertise. And I really enjoy that. I wanted to tell you another funny story. There's a friend who recently finally authenticated a musical of hers coming out into the world and everything. She just does not like having to create sheet music. She feels like every single song will take 3 months, and she'd already made all her backing tracks and everything like that. So, because we were going to put this musical out in the world and in a manner with which sheet music would be expected, we couldn't show up without it. I said, well, I can employ our other friend over here to create that sheet music for us. Well, I did, and it was done wonderfully. And also, we employed him, so he was to be paid. And so she said, oh gosh, we have to pay him. Oh, well, wonderful. I'll write the check and I'll mail it to him. And she said, that was like taking a course. I said, yes, it is, because he gives you all the files that you need to understand how sheet music is made. And she dove right into it. And she said, now I'll be able to do all my own sheet music. So she was resistant to something and then found out from someone who created it that it was actually something she herself should do. If you have those epiphanies, that's really wonderful. And with me, I'll probably still hire people because there's some things I'm just not that good at, but that's okay too. Maybe sometime later, I'll take a course and figure it all out. But right now, I really enjoy the interaction of working with other people for things that I can't accomplish myself. This is the most important thing, as you can see in the beginning slate of this presentation for you. You are allowed to feel joy and comfort as you create. And that's wonderful satisfaction. Let that satisfaction fall upon you too. You are allowed to feel joy and comfort, and no one is allowed to take that from you. This is important too as we go on further in the world. There's always people who run certain industries, regardless of what your creation is, regardless of what the creation from your passion is. There's always people who were there first, may come later, may stay just for a while. There's always obstacles too, but allow no obstacles in your creating. In your creating, no one has the right or power to stop you from creating. Gatekeepers have no power if you don't stand at their gate. If you are creating and you wish to go further with your creation and someone's trying to stop you or something is trying to stop you, guess what you have the power to do? To simply, gracefully step away. Because when you step away from that gate that's closed, there's other gates that are open just waiting for you. So don't ever be intimidated if someone tries to stop you. Just gracefully step away and go to the open gate. This is very, very important too. As we create from our passion, from the passion that has landed upon us, we'll be really, really excited about it. We'll go full throttle. We'll keep trying to go and go and go and go. We'll make everything happen. We feel like we don't have time, so we must really hurry. You don't have to hurry. I'll give you an example from the musical theater world again, which is where I spend a lot of my time. You may know that Alicia Keys, yes, Alicia Keys, she is creating a musical. Do you know she's worked on that musical for 14 years already? And it's finally going to head to Broadway here in New York City. And I was a producer above the title with Alanis Morissette's musical Jagged Little Pill from her 1995 album. That musical took 8 or 9 years to be developed and get it to Broadway. So things that are wonderful just take time, and that's okay. You can take frequent breaks as you create from your passion. The power you have as you create, whatever it is you want to create, the power you have is that there's no outside deadline. The deadline is yours to define. So take all the time you need. I'll tell you a secret. I made a musical too. I created a musical, and guess how long it took? 10 years. But boy, when that finally got on a stage, I was so happy. And I'm really glad I took my time because I just felt like that musical landed where it was supposed to, when it was supposed to. And if I had tried to rush it and rush it and rush it, it would have just hit a bunch of chaotic bumps. So I'm really glad that somehow I was bestowed with the wisdom to just be patient and give myself the time. The other thing I want to say as it pertains to patience is remain patient because beautifully fulfilling extras come to you. They abound in the midst of patience. So many wonderful things happened when I allowed myself that time to stop and breathe. When I said, when I said to myself, I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. I'm going to take a break. And because sometimes when I would try to keep creating something for the sake of working on it, for the sake of keep going, I just wasn't creating anything that was really very good for the nice things that came before it, especially as it pertains to a certain project. So I said what Lori said to me, a guitarist back in the day in the 90s. She said, eat when you're hungry. And what she meant was create when the passion of it hits you, even if you've already started and you're taking a break. That break could be a couple of hours. That break could be a month. That break could be simply a week. But it's okay to remain patient because there's a lot of other little beautiful gems that are going to come to you in those breaks that you take. Because when you take those breaks, you're not holding on so tightly that you can't see straight. And that's another gift to us too, to just kind of let go. And I call it marinating and percolating so that your creation lands exactly where you'd like it to in the time that it needs. There's something I wanted to say to you as we get ready to close this presentation. It's really, really important. And it was said to me a long time ago when I met a person who ran a big record label. I was at a conference and I got to sit with them at the table. And they said something to me that I didn't know if I understood at the time, but I certainly understand it now. And so I'll tell it to you so that you understand too. Rely upon yourself. It is all right to do so. Even if you're collaborating, it's not unkind or selfish to rely upon yourself. Your collaborators, whom you've chosen carefully and with whom you share complete trust, will understand this. And then if you do other things that they're relying upon themselves on, and you work with them on their projects, you'll understand them as well. Because let's look at this. When you rely upon yourself, you're being true to what your passion is, the creation coming from that passion, and you know exactly what you want, and you're helping other people by being able to delegate, if you're working with collaborators especially, exactly what you'd like from them. So what I'd like to say to you is don't be worried about anything as it pertains to this. This is not selfish. It is of the self, and there's a difference. So I truly hope that you know that you can rely upon yourself as you create from your passion. It's truly all right to decide for yourself what your passion is going to be and what, if anything, you choose to create from it. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And I can't wait to hear about everything that each and every one of you does to create your passionate self and to create from your passion, which lands upon you. Thank you so much for having me today. I hope I get to meet each and every one of you in person, and I am available on social media if you'd like to stop by and say hi. Thank you.